Yeah, I did. For safekeeping, I'm going to do something with it. This guy's name was Micha.
Oh.
Very big trouble. If we go back, 80 years back, I'm sorry, not 80 years, I would say around 60 something years back, Moshe Rabbeinu going out at the age of 20, and he see that the Egyptians killing Jewish people, babies in front of families, and stuck their bodies or the living babies inside the wall and covered with mud because he didn't finish his job. Moshe was so upset. He was crying. Then he asked Hashem, why are you doing this? Hashem says, because you don't know their past. The Ari HaKadosh tells us that all these babies that died, this horrible death, they were neshamot, soul, reincarnate from the time of the flood, the Mabul. And they come back, some of them for a year, 6 months, 1 month, few days, to get the punishment, and they get the place in the world to come, and Gan Eden. Hashem says, these guys, you don't know their past. They were troublemakers. But Hashem, so you know what? Fine. Oh, you give me permission, take. Thank you. Moshe went to one of the walls. He took one of the baby before he died. He was suffocating. He revived him. And this baby grew up next to Moshe ever since. His name was Micha. Micha means that was stuck in the building, he almost died. The name Micha. And this Micha grew up and took this note, and will meet Micha again when Moshe will be on the mountain for 40 days, 40 nights. And they made the golden calf by throwing this note with the word Shor, ox, to the fire. And a golden calf came out of it. Who did the trouble? Who's the troublemaker? Micha. Hashem says, I know better. But you want your way? You got it your way. When you argue with God, when you don't follow Hashem's way, you're going to lose. And you're going to lose big time. And you think this is just a story? Wow, it's a nice story. When we know that, we, all of us, still suffer from this story till today. We still pay for the golden calf sin. Every generation gets a little bit. Let's move on. So, I have to skip really quick. We're going, how long we have? We have to...
23 minutes.
23 minutes. Chapter 13, verse 21, says that Hashem was walking before them. Hashem holech lifneim yomam ba'amud anan lanchotam haderech velayla ba'amud esh la'ir lahem lalechet yomam v'layla. Hashem didn't neglect the Jewish people. 2 clouds, 1 cloud and 1 pillar of fire. During the day, they follow the cloud. Can you imagine? Almost 4 million living. High temperature. I don't know why it says high temperature. Maybe we need a fan here. Okay. Pay attention. So, what happened? During the day, a pillar of, it was a cloud. And during the night, a pillar of fire. 4 million people, almost 4 million people, walking. Who can even talk with a group of 1,000 people? Or 10,000? But now, nobody to that. Nobody need to talk to them. Why? Because they see from above. This is the direction. Even a little child can see. Let's follow the cloud. What about the night? Here's the pillar of... They didn't have to travel during the night, but they have light if needed. So let's move on. Look what it says. The pasuk says that the cloud and the pillar of fire were working simultaneously, cooperating. When the cloud disappeared, immediately who appears? The pillar of fire. And morning comes, the clouds come back. Synchronization.
Air condition.
The Egyptian in chapter 14, verse 5, Vayugad lemelech Mitzrayim, he sent with them spies. They calculated 3 days, they didn't come back. Moshe told Paro they're going to go for 3 days to sacrifice to God, right? Did he say they're coming back? People mistakenly think that Moshe promised they'll come back. It never says they come back. Turns out. I have no idea why he's doing this. Yeah. Because it's high temperature.
Broadcast interrupted.
It's so hot.
Yeah.
It happens to me in another house too.
But
it's working here, right? Okay. So you can upload the second...
second part.
Anyways, what do? You can upload it in full to...
Overside Foundation.
Just as we'll talk about it. So, the spies come back and says, hey, these guys they have no intention to come back. Paro says, what? The Egyptians were going crazy. They could not live without servants. Many Egyptians born to a situation when they have so many servants around them for free. Imagine you have people at your house. One do the laundry, one clean up the house, one take up the kids, one do the diapers, one cook, one take them to school, one take them out of school, one do you massage, one take you to for free, for years. And now it's already 3 days. They're not here. They actually stopped this slavery a year before, when the plague started. But they still thought one day the Jews will be our servant. They come back. Now they understand they're not going to come back. And it's another trick Hashem wants them to feel. They will have desire to pursue after the Jewish people. The Jewish people living. They got to the point that they hear the Egyptians behind them. 4 groups in the people and among the Israelites had an opinion. One said, let's jump to the water. Group number 2 says, no, let's go back to Egypt. Group number 3 said, let's fight them. And group number 4 says, you know what? We don't have to fight. Let's just, all of us, make a lot of sound. We scream, we scare them. Moshe told them, shh, come down. And the wicked, what is this? There's not enough graves in Egypt. You bring us here to die in the desert? The wicked always complain. They have no faith. So in chapter 14, verses 13 and 14, Moshe gives answer to all these 4 groups. He says, Ityatzevu, chill out, stand, behold, Hashem will fight for you and you remain silent. Don't jump, don't come back, don't fight, don't make noise. You be silent. When you trust Hashem in life, not just back then old story from the time of the desert, the time of people of Israel leaving Egypt. Today, you have full trust in God, Hashem will fight for you. Don't ask Hashem to do that. This is very dangerous. When you ask Hashem, you know what Hashem, you see what He did to me? I'll leave it to you, take care of it. It's called that you bring your judgments to God. Hashem will do it. but they'll first start with you. They open your books first. You don't want to do that. If you be silent, sometimes it's very hard. Hashem see what they do to you and said you're silent, I'll take care of it. You think you're a big shot? You can do things by yourself because you're smart, you're clever, you're experienced, you're strong. I'll leave it to you to handle. You just need to move on. Let it go. And from Shamayim, they act the same way with you. Let me just conclude. When the last part, when Moshe, Hashem says to Moshe, very interesting pasuk. He says in 14:15. ויאמר Hashem el Moshe, Hashem said to Moshe, מה תצעק אליי? Why are you calling out to me? דבר עם בני ישראל וייסעו. Speak with בני ישראל, they should travel. Moshe started to say prayer. And Hashem says to Moshe, shh. This is not time for prayers. Move on. Let's go. Some people think that prayers, it's the only thing I need to do. Prayer is very good and this is a must. But you have to do some actions. In some points you have to stop and do. Sometimes you can see women sit in the house, they're tzadikot, they're righteous, they read Tehillim. They sit down, they read Tehillim all day. The house is a mess. The children climbing on the walls. The husband comes home, they see no food on the table, and she's doing Tehillim. This is not what Hashem wants. There's time for Tefillah. There's time for Tehillim. And there is time for doing other things. Don't neglect your responsibility saying, I'm a tzadikah. Hashem said to Moshe, no, it's not time for Tehillim now. It's time to move on. And Hashem brings the cloud that usually is not there in the back of the camp. Israelite here, it's a sandwich. And the front, the pillar of fire, and the back is the cloud. Why? To absorb all the arrows, the spears, the stones, everything they throw at them. The cloud would take and shoot it back to them. They're shooting arrows and they come back to them. At first they thought that the Israelites shooting at them arrows till they found out this is their own arrows.
Wow.
Moshe told them, you see, Hashem is fighting for you. He's not going to leave you. It's all about trusting them. I think we learned today a very great lesson. If we trust God fully, not just when it's easy to trust God, and the most hardest time, then you'll see Hashem. It takes courage. At first it's hard, but when you get used to it, it becomes, you live by it. But don't stuck in prayers. Prayers and actions. If you sit at home and pray to God for livelihood, parnasah, Hashem won't send it to you. You have to go out to fish. Arba'a devarim tzrichim hizuk. 4 things needs Adam, a man, must make efforts. It's Torah, Tefillah, Ma'asim Tovim, good deeds. And the 4th one's called Derech Eretz, meaning, not manners, meaning, Rashi says, it's in Berachot, Daf Lamed Bet, in the tractate Berachot 32. 2, I think, 32. It says, Rashi says, Oman le'omanuto. You have a job, make efforts. Advertisement, do your job so you have a good reputation, do whatever you can. Hashem sends beracha on what you do. Now when you're sitting at home and waiting for it to come to you. You're not at the level of Moshe. Moshe Rabbeinu, he was busy with God, God took care of him. You make efforts, you trust God, He'll give it to you. On behalf of Ohev Israel Foundation, I thank everybody that joined us for this class, פרשת שבוע, see you בעזרת השם next week, same time, same place. תודה רבה, שבוע טוב.
בסדר.